Greetings, facilitators. This is the school year program lesson plan overview for January the 16th for 9th grade. Super Saturday will start off with a 15-minute morning meeting, followed by session 1, which agreement 2 will be discussed in detail. Then the students will take a 10-minute break at 9:50, followed by the 10 to 10:50 leadership speaker series. For the January 16th lesson, our guiding question is, how can one decrease conflict and suffering by not taking the action and words of others personally? So we are focusing again on the 4 agreements in leadership. During the lesson, the resources that you will need are the Google Classroom Access for students, Google Slides presentation on Agreement 2 in leadership, some suggested interactive tools for classroom management are Wheel of Names, the Random Name Selector, and Google Jamboard. The purpose of the 4 agreements, and specifically Agreement 2, the students will understand nothing that others do is because of them. What others say or do is a projection of their own reality. And by understanding this purpose, students and people in general, in developing their leadership skills, will understand how to avoid suffering or feeling that someone has hurt their feelings, which oftentimes can create negative actions or behaviors towards themselves or even others. When people realize that really how someone else feels is not about you, it's totally about them. So we're going to go ahead and open up the actual presentation where you all are able to look at the various slides, which will contain everything from the do now hook, the building the skill portion, the investigate portion, and the criteria for mastery, which will include the exit ticket and closure. So I'm going to go into the actual slide presentation and then we will go through each slide. So once again, this is our guiding question. And our academic language is still the word impeccable. So impeccability, we're still looking at understanding from Agreement 1, how can you use your words, performance, actions in accordance with the highest standards of propriety or faultlessness. So if you are acting and exhibiting behaviors of Agreement 1, you will decrease the risk of either hurting anyone's feelings or having someone even have to take things personally, or you taking things personally yourselves. If you and everyone around you act and speak with impeccable behavior, then you run that risk. So still reiterating information from Agreement 1. So once again, we are going to focus on the second agreement, which is don't take anything personally. The do now, how can the opinions of others shape the way you operate as a leader? Have students in an open discussion discuss this question. Agreement 2, understanding and reiterating the simple concept of not taking things personally. You will avoid regret, loss, suffering, grief, which is a negative connotation, even if someone deliberately hurt you. The book that the 4 agreements elaborates on not taking things personally, even if it's something extreme. Like they go to the extreme of explaining when someone physically attacks you or violently harms you, that is not anything that you did wrong. That is something that is within someone's personal self that they're battling with, and not taking it personally. There's a lot of instances where that is a hard agreement to understand and to comprehend. For instance, if someone hurts a family member or kills someone that you love, it is hard to not hold resentment towards them. But the goal of the 4 agreements is to have inner peace within yourself. So as a leader, we're not talking about something that extreme, especially with high school students. We're thinking of it in more of a school-related terms where they may be dealing with bullying or people who have various points of view that may conflict with things that they agree upon. if they're running for SGA and they have people who don't like them, or if they're in a group and they have friends who may not treat them kindly, don't take their behavior personally. You act and only can control how you feel about a situation, and you can choose the behavior in which you will react to it in a certain way. So that is the synopsis of Agreement 2. The other part of the lesson is simply going through the various exploring slides. So the next slides are just exploring the actual agreement. So nothing people do is about you. It is always about themselves. You don't like me? Cool. I don't wake up every day to impress you. If you have this mantra, if you have this attitude in life, you will avoid, suffering from depression, low self-esteem, and build up your confidence knowing that you are worth whatever you say that you are worth. So the hook. This video is called Why I Bully You. So they're going to watch this video about bullying, and it's from the perspective of the bullier, a person who bullies someone. And they go and elaborate, these students, on why they are actually a bully. And at the end of the video, you kind of see that the reason why they bully others is because they're dealing with issues within themselves. They see themselves in the person that they're bullying. And so it's easier for them to place attention on a person that they're bullying than looking at their inner self and dealing with the issues that they have. So the questions that we have for the students is, what is the phrase "I bully you because I see myself in you" mean? After watching the video, does this impact the way you feel about bullies and those who are bullied? Does this change the way you think about people, about how people should feel when others are unkind to them? So there's no right or wrong answers, just for open dialogue. Continue with exploring Agreement 2 and asking students to think this question through. Has anyone ever said or acted in a manner towards you that impacted the way you felt about yourself? How can you combat the way others think about you? So how can you combat what others project on you? What are things that you can do? Continue to explore Agreement 2, which is don't give people power over you. And also provide context to, there are a lot of people in power who have accomplished great things that have experienced criticism. They may have examples of people who they consider powerful or accomplished, and just have an open conversation about everyone can have people attack them or criticize them or speak to them in unkind words. How do you see people who have accomplished great things? How have they persevered and been resilient during times where it was challenges that they faced with the outside world and the outside world's opinions? Remember and reiterate Agreement 1. Words can uplift or weigh you down. You make the choice to whether you're using impeccable words first and foremost to avoid weighing someone else down or weighing yourself down. And then also remember that when you use words to uplift you, you don't run the risk of taking anything personally, because you can't control the words and actions of others. So these are the 5 things to remember to master Agreement 2. Understand that it is never about you. Never give away your power to others. Take away the satisfaction that people get of putting you down. Take control of how you feel, and you are capable of great things no matter what someone else's opinion of you is. So have this question discussion format, just reviewing Agreement 2 and how it relates to leadership. Now, this 2 activities we're leading into will be the investigate part. The video we're going to watch is heated exchanges from the first presidential debate of 2020. So this is between Biden and Trump. And both candidates did, of course, we know, a poor job at expressing themselves without using insult. So we're going to have students look at how they display impeccability, if they did display it, if they did not, and how do you think the impact was on the American people by watching this debate.
Joe, you agree with Bernie Sanders?
The second activity is how a Trump rally turned deadly video. So we're investigating the impact of one's words. So we know what was the impact of the words that Trump um, had on his supporters and the actions that they took personally and implemented due to the rally. So it's definitely opinionated. There is, you know, no right or wrong. Some people may not think that the reported supporters took his words personally. Of course, based on media and based on what we've seen due to the insurrection, we can infer that they did because of their actions they displayed at the Capitol. So have students allow them to have this open conversation. The last question, I want them to use Google Jamboard to write one adjective that describes their feelings towards the insurrection. You can create a Jamboard or you can use the one that I've already created. I already added my personal adjective to what I saw and witnessed on TV by Trump supporters. So you can allow students to add in a text or add in a sticky note of how they felt. Again, you can make a copy of this to create your own. I just put an image in there. And that is the synopsis of that activity. So after they watch the video, how a Trump rally turned deadly, answer those questions and complete the adjective of how they felt by the insurrection at the Capitol.
Let's have trial by...
The exit ticket. What are some consequences to reacting to words or actions that incite negative behavior? So we know that there are consequences to the Trump supporters who reacted negatively. Some of them have been arrested. There will be legal action taking place of them, and people were actually killed. So you want to make sure that students understand that there are ways in which people can react to words that will have devastating effects on our society. And should leaders be held accountable for actions of their followers? So for most of us, we are watching right now the impeachment process and what is going on in our society. And that Trump, being a leader, he has had to face the consequences of his words and actions. The closure, please review the second agreement, what it means to not take anything personally. How can people avoid reacting negatively or responding to critics? So students could say things like the supporters could have just went home or taken defeat or whatever conversations. The main thing during this whole entire lesson that I do want to reiterate, make sure that the conversation is professional. Make sure people are open to the thoughts of others. We are not going to put us in one big bubble and say that every one of our students and maybe our teaching fellows and staff are against Trump supporters or are, happy with the outcome or what has happened in our society. Be open-minded. We definitely want to allow students to express how they feel. But if, I don't foresee someone having a differing viewpoint, but if they do, being open-minded and making sure with classroom management that you are facilitating a healthy, positive, student-centered conversation. And that is the end of the lesson plan overview for January the 16th. Have a great day.